Hi everyone, my name is Cole, and I work as a pizza delivery guy. Not too long ago, I got lucky because I got a house. You can't imagine how excited I was. But as it turned out, rejoiced too soon. Listen to what happened next, and in general, how I was given real estate. Subscribe to the channel and like it. I'll give you a really creepy story. I'd been working in a pizza delivery company for around 2 years at the time. It was easy for me to bring one order, a second, a third to addresses on time. As long as the pizza was hot, I rode a small scooter, knew exactly where to avoid traffic in my quadrant. I never got a promotion at work, but I got good tips. My customers were always happy that I was the one to serve them. And I had an especially favourite client, an old grandmother. She was about 80 years old. It was strange even to me because usually young people like to order pizza, but she was old. One day I went with her with an order and brought some delicious natural juice. She didn't have any extra money, so she paid me for a delicious lunch. We sat down at the table and I asked her, "Grandma, why do you always order pizza if you have such good food in your house?" Grandma laughed, thanked me for the compliment, and said that her food was often lacking. "Why do you have so many family members?" "There are a lot of guests. They've become like family to me over the years." "Who are they? Your friends?" "Not really. They are like my sons, my soldiers." "Soldiers? But our soldiers aren't allowed to come home so often." "It's our modern ones, and they've been walking hungry since the war. Their souls belong to the bodies of the dead that they haven't identified, so they walk around hungry all the time, and I help them." A cough came out of my mouth. I choked on my soup, and only then noticed that her whole house was decorated with war posters, medals, and other insignia hung on the walls, even shoulder straps. "No way, Grandma. Can it be?" "It can, Sonny, it can. I am not afraid of the dead. You should be afraid of the living, right?" I thought, well, Grandma's totally cuckoo, and then I asked her where her family was. She got sad. "They live somewhere far away. I don't know exactly where. They ran away from me, called me crazy, and haven't visited since. It's been years." "So why don't you write to them?" "Why bother those who don't need me? I'll die soon, and there'll be no one to leave the house to." "Your house is beautiful. You take good care of it. It's clean and bright." "My soldiers help me." I see. Well, Grandma, I have to go. Thank you for lunch." Despite her delusional stories, I still loved eating at her place. She really cooked deliciously. So it went on like that for about another 6 months. And then one day, when I went to her place to place another order, the door was opened by a man in a suit. "Hello, Mr. Cole Bidman?" "Hi, yes, it's me. Where's Grandma?" "We were just talking about you. She's waiting for you. Come on in." I went into her bedroom with this dude, and he said she had something to tell me. "Hey, Grandma, why are you lying in bed? It's the middle of the day. Who's going to feed me?" "Hello, my dear. How are you? I need to talk. Time is short." "What's wrong? You don't look well. Should we call an ambulance?" "No, sit down." Grandma said she was dying due to her age, and since she never has, she considers me the only contender to leave her house to. I was shocked, said I couldn't accept such a gift because she had children of her own, but Grandma insisted. Almost immediately, a man in a suit, who turned out to be a lawyer, drew up all the papers, and I immediately became the owner of her cozy house with all of its contents. I couldn't believe my happiness. I thanked her in tears. "We checked your story. Are you an orphan, sir?" "Yes, I am." "So you have no one?" "No, sir, no, just my job, not even a girlfriend." "That's good. The less trouble we'll have." "Why me?" "Grandma loves you. She says you're the only one who wasn't afraid to come and help her." "Wow." "Her last request was to bury her after she died." And she died 2 days later. I had to take time off work to do Grandma's funeral. It was just me and the lawyer there. So sad. I suddenly imagined, what if I died like her, alone, in my own house? I thought immediately, and I felt a little warmer. Then I tidied up the house, did some repairs, and threw out the junk I didn't need. I hid all the awards and medals from the war times in a box, and I was going to throw them away. I took the box labelled medals out to the trash and went to bed. The first night I thought I was dreaming. Was I really sleeping in my own house? And who said the delivery guys weren't lucky? I fell into a deep sleep, and after a while I woke up to a noise. I heard the front door rattle. Mice, I thought, but it can't be, there aren't any here. I said out loud and went to look. There was no one in the hall, but the kitchen light was on. That's weird, I turned it off. I went inside and turned it off again, and on my way into the room, I tripped over something heavy and hard. Ouch! I yelled and wrapped my leg around it. What the? I thought. In front of me lay the very box labelled medals. Who brought it here? The scavengers or something? What kind of joke is this? I said angrily. I took it to the trash again and went to bed. In the morning, I woke up with a full head of plans for the day. I needed to finish the repairs and unpack the stuff in the boxes. I had breakfast and then got down to business. By evening, the repairs were done. I had the whole house cleaned and scrubbed, and all that was left was to put things in the closet. I looked out of the window and noticed there was no trash and smiled. Then I got into the closet and began to rake through my boxes and… What the hell? I asked out loud. In front of me lay that box again. I was already angry and called the garbage service and complained to them, but they said they quickly picked up the trash at this address and left, and even sent a video of them picking up trash near my house. Only in the video, my box was no longer there. I was curious then, who was messing with me like that? So I decided to check and wait. It was already night. I took the box outside to the tank and sat in the living room and waited. I fell asleep on the couch, as it turned out, and woke up to a noise. What the? I asked and was taken aback. A company of soldiers walked in front of me, and they dragged the box over, placed it by the couch. They were all wearing helmets in old military uniforms. They were wounded men, some with bandages, some without arms and legs, some with multiple facial wounds. They were walking around like they were at home, opening the fridge, eating and drinking whatever they could find. I was freaking out. I started shaking with fear. I was like, ah! The soldiers froze, looked at me wholesale. Then I was approached by apparently their leader. He saluted and said he was grateful for dinner to us, that I was now the new master of the house and they were happy about it. What's going on here? Who are you people? We're Company 6575, died in the execution of orders in 1782 war with England, sir. Is this a joke or something? What's a joke? We're not joking, we're soldiers, sir. We have a favour to ask you, sir. If you wouldn't mind not throwing away our decorations. They mean a lot to us. Grandma's been keeping them safe, and we're hoping you will too. What's that? You're bringing them out of the trash? Yes, sir. My soldiers fought in the war, and they don't want their merits mixed up in the garbage, sir. Holy shit. Was my grandmother telling the truth? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We died years ago, and all you can do for us is feed my platoon once in a while, sir. And if I refuse? Firing squad. What? A firing squad. Those who don't obey, we shoot them. You can't. You're ghosts. Grandma had her first son. He wouldn't feed us, and we had to shoot him. She didn't tell you? What? You shot him? But you're ghosts. Every month on certain days, we become something tangible. Apparently, it's a curse. We feel nothing but hunger. Okay, I hear you. What do you like to eat? Pizza. Yes, I can do that. We have to go. Thanks for dinner. We'll come back tomorrow. They went out the door, but when I opened it behind them, there was no one outside. I almost kicked the bucket, ran to a psychologist the next day, but they told me I was fine and just prescribed antidepressants. I went to my grandmother's grave, talked to her, but she didn't respond. And then I started researching the history of the soldiers, but I couldn't find anything. At first, I was really scared, but I bought pizza just like they wanted. And after a week, I got used to it. I asked the commander how their souls could be put to rest. He told me that you have to find their bodies and give them to their families. And how do you find your bodies? Where? There is a special burial place for unnamed soldiers, but we do not remember which one could belong to whom. There are not only us, but also other companies. More than hundreds of bodies. How many? Do you realize that this is exhumation and that I could go to jail if they notice? No, we don't know the current laws. We only know pizza. Yeah, I see. And if I do, can you tell me the names of your relatives? We can give you the names of those we remember, but it's important to understand that now it's likely that only descendants are still alive, and we don't know them. And so what happens? Are you chained to this house? I'm afraid so, sir. And why this one? This used to be our camp. This is where we were shot by the enemy. Oh shit. And then the soldiers left. They come to my place every 1.5 weeks to eat good food and give me some unwanted company, and I have to put up with it and carry pizza from work. That's the way it is, folks. What do you think? How do you undo this in the first place?
Greetings to all. My name is Gloria, and I'm probably going to get a lot of negative comments right now, but I'll tell you what it is. Just listen to the rest of it, because I'm telling you this story for a reason. It is important for me to hear your opinion and understand whether I did everything right. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to this channel. In general, I am a billionaire. Yes, my parents are very rich people. We had a luxurious house, a lot of cars, expensive clothes, our own servants, and I even had my own driver. When I was born, we already had money. My parents are both from not poor families, and when they got married, the wealth only increased. No wonder they say that money sticks to money. Just so you understand, my father had 14 cars, and my mother had 15, almost each to match the color of her most chic outfit and mood. We often used to go on vacation abroad, not denying ourselves anything. We had our own yacht, and Dad was about to buy an entire island so we could go there on vacation when we had free time. My mother never cooked. She did not like this business at all, but in principle, this was not necessary because we had several cooks. Since I was a child, I've only eaten good food made from expensive dishes. But you know, when you grow up with money, that doesn't seem so important anymore. Whenever I drove through the streets and saw kids queuing for burgers, I thought they were beggars. I couldn't understand how they could even eat fake food. It was all worth it, of course. Cheap. Well, for me at least. In general, so we lived. And as they say, all good things come to an end. My father burned out in a moment. It was just awful. We were impoverished overnight. My mother was heartbroken because we had no idea how to continue living. The only thing we have left is half. Yes, maybe it's not so little, but not much. We took away a whole half. No, it wasn't the police. It was serious people who took their own. That's what they said. We had to sell a lot, give up entertainment, and the purchase of the island was out of the question. It was a difficult time, and we tried to save on everything. My mother said that I should now go to a simple school among ordinary children and not tell anyone that we are rich. It was a real challenge for me. I disgustedly opened the door. I went into the corridor and saw the chaos, where middle and low-class children ran around, where children drink one drink for two, eat one popcorn, and in general, how did they learn in such conditions? In class, I couldn't make friends with anyone. I wanted to howl and run back to my closed school, where they ate with knives and forks, where there are guards, and where my driver took me. And now what? I was supposed to take the bus, eat school food, and drink plain water, not imported from Italy? I didn't talk to my classmates just because I was disgusted. I didn't want them to touch me. I didn't eat lunch at school, preferring to be hungry. Every day I cried at home and asked to be brought back. But my parents kept saying that we couldn't go back, because now my father is trying to get the money back and we need to save. One day, when I was sitting alone at lunch, my classmate sat down with me. Her name was Matilda. She offered me sandwiches and I turned my head away in disgust, although I was terribly hungry. To be honest, it looked delicious, but my pride wouldn't let me. Matilda took half of it and pushed the other half toward me. I asked her why she was so kind to me, to which she replied, "Why not?" Her answer surprised me. How can you treat someone well just like that? At my old school, we paid each other if we wanted to ask for a favor. I picked up her sandwich, took a bite, and realized it was the most delicious thing I'd ever eaten. She poured me a glass of juice, and it was just homemade orange juice. "Is that your mother cooking?" I asked, and Matilda replied, "Of course." I was surprised. Is it really possible to cook such delicious food at home? From that moment on, Matilda became my first friend for nothing. Every day she shared lunch with me. Sometimes we walked around the city and she showed me simple, free things that you can get a lot of pleasure from. For example, a walk in the fresh air, a lunch that her mother cooked for us. Matilda taught me to ride a bike. I tried a burger for the first time and washed it down with a Coke. My new friend showed me a different life, and it didn't turn out to be a bad one. When it was her birthday, I pulled out my savings and went to her house. Everyone gave her gifts, and I brought her money. There was about $1,000, and you know what? She refused to take it. I was very surprised, but she said that she knew about my family, financial difficulties, and that we are billionaires. "You need more money now. I invited you just like that," she said. I came home and asked my mother, "Are there people who do things not for money?" But my mother shook her head. She said that this does not happen. everything in this world is based on money. I thought about it again, and then I texted Matilda that she was my best friend, and she texted me back. I was pleased to be friends with this girl, and I wanted to introduce her to my old rich friends. They were having a party, and I took her with me. As soon as we got there, she was ridiculed. "Didn't we tell you that you can't take homeless people with you?" the girl said sarcastically. I looked at Matilda in fright. She was upset, and I was so ashamed in front of her. Already with different eyes, I looked at my old company, where the girls laughed a lot, drank expensive drinks, and all the talk was only about money, shopping, and everything. "Apparently, your new school for beggars didn't do you any good," they said. "Not everything in the world is based on money," I said, taking Matilda's hand and leading her away. I took her to the park, bought us burgers, and asked for forgiveness. Matilda wiped away her tears and said that I had changed a lot and that she was happy and proud of me. That made me smile. I suddenly realized that money can't buy true friendship. A year later, Dad's business improved and we were rich again, even more than we were before. My father's first suggestion was to transfer me back to my old school, and I refused. I didn't want to learn anymore and be surrounded by people who didn't have real values. When I explained my choice to my father, he said that he respected my choice and did not dare to interfere with it. My mom didn't like the idea, but my dad talked her into letting me decide for myself. So I stayed in my poor school, where I even began to dress more simply. By the way, I even had my own group of friends, and my friendship with Matilda only grew stronger. I realized that among the poor people, there are sincere and kind people who are ready to love people just for who they are. Am I right?